I guess that boat and sail away.
You're going to take Scuffy the Tugboat and sail away?
Huh?
Yeah, but he doesn't really sail. He has an engine. He doesn't even have a sail. He has a big smokestack for his engine, but no sail. He's a tugboat. Scuffy the Tugboat.
I'm gonna do that boat.
You will?
Yes.
Okay. Could be interesting. Scuffy was sad. Scuffy was cross. Scuffy sniffed his blue smokestack. A toy store is no place for a red-painted tugboat, said Scuffy, and he sniffed his blue smokestack again. I was meant for bigger things. Oh, that's a lot of words.
Why?
Look at all those words. Perhaps you would not be cross if you went sailing, said the man with the polka-dot tie who owned the shop. So one night he took Scuffy home to his little boy. He filled the
bathtub
with
water.
Very good. Sail, little tugboat, said the little boy. I won't sail in a bathtub, said Scuffy. A tub is no place for a red-painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things. The next day the man with the polka-dot tie and his little boy carried Scuffy to a laughing brook that started high in the hills. Sail, little tugboat, said the man with the polka-dot tie. It was spring, and the brook was full to the brim with its water, and the water moved in a hurry, as all things move in a hurry when it is spring. Scuffy was in a hurry too. Come back, little tugboat, come back, cried the little boy, as the hurrying, brimful brook carried Scuffy downstream. Not I, tooted Scuffy, not I. This is the life for me.
Try that again.
Not I, tooted Scuffy, not I. This is the life for me. You're a silly girl. All that day Scuffy sailed along with the brook, past the meadows filled with cowslips, past the women washing clothes on the bank, past the little woods filled with violets. Cows came to the brook to drink. They stood in the cool water, and it was fun to sail around between their legs and bump softly into their noses. It was fun to see them drink. But when a white and brown cow almost drank Scuffy instead of the brook's cool water, Scuffy was frightened. That was not fun. Night came, and with it the moon. There was nothing to see but the quiet trees. Suddenly an owl called out, Hoot! Hoot! Toot! Toot! Cried the frightened tugboat, and he wished he could see the smiling face of the man with the polka-dot tie. When morning came, Scuffy was cross instead of frightened. I was meant for bigger things, but which way am I to go? He said. But there was only one way to go, and that... I was meant for bigger things, but which way am I to go? He said. But there was only one way to go, and that was with the running water where the two brooks met to form a small river. And with the river sailed Scuffy, the red-painted tugboat. He was proud when he sailed past villages. People build
houses and buildings.
People build villages.
Does look like Huckle's house.
Oh, does that kind of look like Huckle's house? People build villages at the edge of my river, said Scuffy, and he straightened his blue smokestack.
Huckle lives in
Does that look like Huckle's house? Yes.
Yeah. The reason why is that a firehouse?
It's not a firehouse. That sign says fish. It kind of looks similar to the word fire, but it's the word fish. Good guess, though. Once Scuffy's river joined a small one jammed with logs. Here were men in heavy jackets and great boots walking about on the floating logs trying to pry them free. Toot, toot, let me through, demanded Scuffy. But the men... Toot, toot, let me through, demanded Scuffy. But the men paid no attention to him. They pushed the logs apart so they would drift with the river to the sawmill in the town. Scuffy bumped along with the jostling logs. Ouch! He cried as two logs bumped together. Ouch! He cried as two logs bumped together. This is a fine river, said Scuffy.
If Huckle lives in that house, he'll live in that house.
That's a factory. This is a fine river, said Scuffy, but it's very busy and very big for me.
What's a factory?
That's what kids all say what a factory is?
No.
Okay. He was proud when he sailed under the bridges. My river is so wide and so deep that people must build bridges to cross it. The river moved through big towns now instead of villages. And
For donuts.
For donuts?
Yeah.
A factory for donuts? We could make donuts in a factory.
That's not good because there's no other bridge crossing.
Oh, well, the bridge goes from this side of the land to that side, so there's enough bridge for cars and trucks to drive over. And the bridges over it were very wide, wide enough so that many cars and trucks and street cars could cross all at once. The river got deeper and deeper. Scuffy did not have to tuck up his bottom. The river moved faster and faster. I feel like a train instead of a tugboat, said Scuffy as he was hurried along. He was proud when he passed the old sawmill with its water wheel, but high in the hills and mountains the winter snow melted. Water filled the brooks and rushed from there into the small rivers. Faster and faster it flowed to the great river where Scuffy sailed. There is too much water in this river, said Scuffy as he pitched and tossed on the waves. Soon it will splash over the top, and what a flood there will be! Soon great armies of men came to save the fields and towns from the rushing water. They filled bags with sand and put them at the edge of the river. They're making higher banks for the river, shouted Scuffy, to hold the water back. The water rose higher and higher. The men built the sandbanks higher and higher. Higher went the river. Higher went the sandbags.
I'm crane.
Crane, yes.
I get that crane.
You're going to operate the crane? Okay. At last the water rose no more. The flood water rushed on to the sea, and Scuffy raced along with the flood. The people and the fields and the towns were safe. On went the river to the sea. At last Scuffy sailed into a big city. Here the river widened, and all about were docks and wharves. Okay?
I get that big boat.
Oh my, it's a ship. That looks like an ocean
I
liner.
get that.
Oh, it was a busy place and a noisy place. The cranes groaned as they swung the cargoes into great ships. The porters shouted as they carried suitcases and boxes on board. Horses stamped and truck motors roared. Streetcars clanged and people shouted. Scuffy said, "Toot, toot," but nobody noticed. "Oh, oh," cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There is no beginning and there is no end to the sea."
Do that again.
Which part?
The other part you said.
Which part?
The other part.
I don't know which other part you mean. I wish I could find the man.
The yelling part.
"Oh, oh," cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There is no beginning and there is no end to the sea. I wish I could find the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy." Just as the red-painted tugboat sailed past the last piece of land, a hand reached out and picked him up, and there was the man with the polka dot tie with his little boy beside him. Scuffy is home now with the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy. He sails from one end of the bathtub to the other. "This is the place for a red-painted tugboat," says Scuffy, "and this is the life for me."
That was a funny one.
You like that one?
That one. Okay. I'm gonna show you something.
Yes?
There's no Scuffy the Tugboat here.
That's true. Oh, actually, there is like a Scuffy. That's Scuffy. Right there?
That's Scuffy
There
the
we go.
Tugboat.